Hey, what's up? My name is Samuel Leeds. I'm a property investor, and this week you are in luck because I'm going to be answering a load of your property investment questions right now. However, if your question doesn't get answered, maybe you've been asking questions in the previous video and I'll answer it right now, but the reason you're in luck is because I'm going to be answering all of the comments in this video on next Q&A Sunday's video. So if you're watching this now and you've got a question about property investment, now is your opportunity. Comment below in this video. Also, if I'm answering some other questions and something like shoots into your head or an offshoot of a question, comment below and I'm going to do my very best to answer your question next week. However, let's have a look at some of the questions that came from the last video like this. There's been some very interesting questions. We had a guy called Aziz Savage who said, would you advise us to send out landlord letters for lease option agreements as an HMO with the current COVID-19 situation? I know landlords are more motivated to sell now. However, what if you struggle to fill the HMO due to the lockdown? Or what if the tenants start to leave due to them not being able to afford the rent from the job losses? Would it be best to just get everything ready and then wait until lockdown has been removed? As is, I would say that now is an absolutely fantastic time to be sending out landlord letters about lease option agreements. And the reason is exactly as you've said, the tenants could move out, the lockdown, the fear, all the problems. But that's the reason why you're able to go in right now and get a really good deal. Bear in mind, you are the investor. You're the person that's trying to get a deal. So as a property investor, property investors go around looking for bargains. Like now is the time to go and get a bargain. Now is the time to go and get a good deal. It's crazy because normally if there's a sale on something, everyone queues up to buy. You know, if there's a sale on clothes, a clothes sale, everyone flocks to buy and get the good deals. But when there's a sale on houses, and there's a sale going on right now in the property market, and everyone's like, oh, and they're selling stuff off at 20%, 30% discounts, the crazy thing is when that happens, investors don't queue up. Investors go, ooh, but it could get cheaper, it could get worse. Like, I don't get it. Like, so 1 billion% as is, you should be sending out letters, you should be trying to get deals. And in terms of what about the tenants and the lockdown and the situation, well, depending on what you arrange, if you're arranging a lease option agreement, you could arrange it to start from when lockdown finishes. Or you could say, listen, by the time everything goes through and all the paperwork goes through, we'll probably be out of lockdown anyway. Now's the time to negotiate good deals, but only good deals. You know, if you're going to be buying a property right now or taking a deal right now, you want to be 100% be getting a very, very good deal. Most millionaires are made through recessions and crises. So if you're not a millionaire yet, now is your frigging chance. Get to work. That's my advice. Sam E says, hey Samuel, big fan of the channel. I'm 18 years old and start university in the summer. Let's hope that you do. I'll be definitely coming to one of your 2-day courses after this coronavirus is all done. Awesome, hope to see you there, Sam. Basically, my situation is that I have £10,000 in savings and parents that are supportive but don't have money I can have or borrow. I am looking at buying a house, approximately £100,000 in Newcastle, have 2 or 3 friends happy to pay £50 a week to rent a room. I would be living there too. I then plan to get into rent to rent and I want to try out deal packaging in the meantime to raise funds. I just wanted to know what your thoughts are on this and if you have any advice. I understand you're a very busy man, blah, 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 blah. I said blah, 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 blah because I'm too busy to continue reading it. No, I'm just kidding. Great, listen, dude, I think you're going to be really successful. I think your key is you just got to focus. So you're talking about, you know, I want to try this and I want to try this and I then want to try this. You don't want to try and do anything. You know, this is not a trying exercise. This is just a, what's the process? And then I'm going to do it. And in your mind, you're talking about buying a house, renting rooms out to your friends. By the way, that's an awesome plan. That's something that's very, very smart. If you can buy a property and then rent rooms out to your friends, it's just a winning formula if you don't mind living with friends. It's tax efficient. It's a fantastic idea for young people to do. Then you're talking about rent to rents and deal packaging. I would say just focus on one thing. Go and find that house in Newcastle that you want to buy. Get a really freaking good deal and see if you can get finance on it. Mortgages you can get a mortgage right now. Banks are lending, but it's difficult because the valuers can't go and visit the property. But if you start getting some properties lined up right now, ready for lockdown to be finished, and then I think you should just need to start one thing at a time. But sounds like a great plan. Good job. I hope you guys agree. If you like the sound of Sam E's plan, comment below, tell him he's a rock star, tell him he's going to win. Lelon. Hi Samuel, I'd like for you to answer my questions, please. Here I am. When doing a lease option with a vendor, are you doing legal work with the solicitor? Do you pay stamp duty on the start of the lease option or when you actually buy the property with a loan or a mortgage? Okay, so when you're doing a lease option agreement, no, you don't pay any stamp duty until you actually exchange title deeds, which will usually be years and years down the line. So you don't pay stamp duty, you don't pay any taxes. The only fee you have to pay is a £1 option fee to the seller to make the contract binding legally. And then you need to pay a solicitor. And that's it. Hope that helps. Tom Piggott, The Eviction, Season 2, when's it coming? So I was thinking about The Eviction actually the other day. The Eviction was a series that I did, and it was pretty good actually. We basically I lived in a castle and had 12 or 13 delegates, and we did a task every few days, and then the weakest link was evicted, and then the winner got £20,000. And the winner was actually Anthony Wilmot, who's now a really good friend of mine. And I don't know if I ever will do an Eviction Series 2. I mean, to be honest, I'd forgotten all about it until you just mentioned it. So maybe I will. If enough people want to see it, I'll probably do it. Once we're out of lockdown, Eviction 2, I'm open to the suggestion. So thanks for the comment. Lewis Pohl, what's the legality if I do a lease option agreement and move into the property? Lots of lease option agreement questions. I'm loving it. With 2 housemates and use rent to pay the mortgage for the owner with the option to buy. Or is there a better way to do something like this? I think that sounds good. Listen, as long as if you've got a mortgage on the property, as long as you are not changing the use of the property against the lender's requirements. So if you're doing a lease option agreement on a house that's got a residential mortgage and then you want to rent it out, you're going to need to get consent from the lender. But as long as you're not breaking any of the lender's rules on the house, then yeah, that makes sense. So good plan, Lewis. I hope it works out. Keep me posted. T. Chanakeri says, hi Samuel, I hope you're well. As an experienced property investor like yourself with such a huge property portfolio, mainly HMOs, is it stressful to manage so many tenants? And what tips would you give to someone like me who wants a big portfolio but not a lot of daily headaches from tenants? Great question. So a couple of things. Firstly is tenants, tenants are work. Tenants are customers. And people that say, oh, tenants, that's so much work, isn't it a pain? I've heard landlords say this kind of thing and joke about how they're allergic to tenants. I think that's stupid because the tenants are the people that actually pay your bills. So you need to treat them like customers and value them. However, they do come with hassles. So what I personally do is a few things. I have management companies, which is really helpful. I also have an overseer. So I have someone who manages the property managers. So in other words, if there's a problem, if a tenant's got a problem, they call the property manager. And if the property manager can't handle it, they contact the overseer. And the overseer is the only person who's allowed to speak to me. So for me, it's not a lot of work. However, you're talking about having a really big portfolio and stuff. I don't necessarily think, when I started out in property, I was like, I want to have hundreds of houses. And then when I started to get lots of houses, you know, I thought, actually, do I want hundreds of houses? Or do I actually want to just make more money? And do I want to be a great, experienced, wealthy property investor? So I actually started selling off some of my smaller houses to put into bigger deals. So it's not a case of who has the most houses wins. It's a case of actually who's helping the most people, who's making good money, who's making the economy better. Because as a result of that kind of thing, as a result of providing good accommodation for people, as a result of being a good landlord, as a result of adding value, the money's always going to follow. So, you know, I would just say, don't even worry about it too much. Just make sure you've got good systems in place. You've got property management companies and you'll be fine. And make sure you're a really good landlord and look after your tenants. So anyway, I know that was a long-winded answer to a short question. Hope that helps. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Okay, Reza Motin. Samuel, my man, sale agreed 1 month ago on a great, better than good, not great, okay, buy to let. Should I still go ahead with the crisis upon us now? Do I have room to renegotiate a lower house sale price due to the market crashing? Reza, yes, you do have room to renegotiate. If you put an offer on a property and it was accepted a month or so back, before all this absolute madness happened, and now the sale's progressing, I would 100% try and renegotiate. Now, if the deal was, you said it was good but not great. If it was great and you were like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna make so much money on this deal, and the coronavirus, the property dipping at the moment wasn't really gonna affect that too much, then I might say, okay, well, maybe go ahead. But I 100% think it's not an unreasonable thing, should we say, for you to try and renegotiate right now, given the circumstances. So yeah, I would. And I think property prices they're predicted to go down around about 15% this year. So to try and get an extra 10% off would be very reasonable, in my opinion. Hope that helps. All right, last question, but don't forget to comment your questions. We're gonna do one more question. Also, if you're enjoying the video, smash the like button, comment below. This is from Harry Penfold. He says, hi Samuel, I'm looking to buy my first HMO with the help of my parents. Good for you, Harry. It would be a 50-50. However, we're struggling to find a mortgage. We can't get a mortgage as I'm too young, and also me nor my parents have any landlord experience. However, we have enough for a deposit. We've looked at ways around it. One way would be to borrow against our house, but my parents are understandably reluctant to do this. Do you have any suggestions? Great question, Harry. A few things I'll say. Number one is you want to make sure you've got a really good mortgage broker, because it might be that you're being told you can't get a mortgage by a bank, but actually if you went to an independent mortgage broker who looked at all the banks, they'd say that you can get a mortgage. So that's the very first thing I'd do. Second thing is, it might be worth, for your first project, not being a HMO. So start with a small buy-to-let property and then get a bit of experience and then get a HMO. And what you'll find is a lot of that will open you up to a lot of lenders, because they'll see that you have landlord experience. The third option, I guess, is to borrow against the house. They've said that's an option, but I understand your parents aren't too keen on doing that. But I think that those are the three things I'd say off the top of my head. Try a different broker or find an independent mortgage broker. Start with a different type of property or borrow against the house. They're the three options, but hey, you've got great parents and I hope that you are wildly successful. So listen guys, that's it from me today. I hope you found this video useful. I hope you found it beneficial. Next Sunday at 7 p.m, I'm gonna be answering all of the questions from this video. So comment your questions below. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe and turn on the notification bell, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks so much, peace out.